family, and they were coming down from the top as we were coming up from the very bottom, and it had been, we were on day 3, and Aaron had twisted his knee and was struggling through that, and started at 3 in the morning from the bottom of the canyon, and just this family wearing Crocs and gym shorts and no water, and they're like, "Oh, how far is it down to the bottom?" Oh, it's like another 5 miles, but it's treacherous, so bring lots of water. They went down and came back up by the time we hadn't even made it. We had a quarter of the way of the canyon left to go. I was like, I know I'm not in great shape, but like, I'm gonna hike to the bottom of the Grand Canyon in Crocs and gym shorts. Great shape, that's for sure.
That's crazy.
And we were down there.
Does Jolene get on with Kristen?
Kids.
Oh,
Not just like kids, like 14-month-old babies. They hiked.
the people are nuts.
They're usually one together, right? They don't come on separately, right?
Yeah, sometimes they do.
They do.
Because sometimes one of them is traveling.
Yeah. Last month they were not together.
Can you hear us, Kristen?
Can you hear us, Kristen?
Yes, I can. Sorry.
Okay, good. No.
Jolene with you too?
Yes, we are sitting here together this morning.
Awesome. All right, well, we'll get started. Call the meeting to order. Good. Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Great. Public forum. There's an opportunity for our citizens to present items to HRA that are not on the agenda. Each presentation is limited to 3 minutes and a maximum of 15 minutes set aside. If your items need follow-up from the city, staff will arrange for that. If we don't have anybody, so. All right, consideration and approval of agenda. Currently Fred is not on the agenda.
Yes, I apologize.
Fred is here.
Yes.
We have that under
They omitted you from the agenda. I'm sorry. So we need to add, Fred, and the financials got distributed yesterday to you.
8.5. That worked. Old business, because he was here.
Unless you would like to have any.
Unless you want to move him up before 8.1, so he doesn't have to sit through our whole meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we can do that.
8.0.
Do we need a motion to move that to 8.0?
I'll make that motion.
No, I was asking for the Nancy second.
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, Fred, we'll have you on here in a minute. All right. Number 6. Or is there anything else on the agenda? Add, subtract, divide. Okay. Approval of meeting minutes. So we should approve April and May
I'll make that motion.
for both. Do
Yes.
that? Do that? Okay. A second.
I'll second.
Okay.
Oh, did you second?
Oh,
I made the motion.
Yeah, she motioned, I said,
Oh,
yes.
Like,
sorry, I did that here. I have phoned up. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, minutes are approved.
Thank you.
SMR management staff report 7.1.
Good morning.
Morning.
Overall, the property's been very quiet the last month. We have one unit that's vacant right now. That one was taking a little bit of extra cleanup due to the foundation issues and had the some mold growing on the wall. So our maintenance guy was able to get that all cleaned up. He's just about complete with that, so that one will be rented here in the next couple weeks. And then we have one more that will be, that's currently vacant, but it'll be officially vacant at the end of June since he skipped. I had issued a eviction letter for non-payment and he just disappeared over the weekend, so. He still had to give a 30-day notice, so we'll be officially vacating that unit with HUD on June 30th.
All right. Questions on that? Okay. Hyde City HRA audit report.
Yep, so the end of our fiscal year was on March 31st. And with the city's audit, we try to get the HRA audit done as soon as possible so that they can combine it into their audit. So that audit was already completed. The audit went very smoothly. The only finding on there was the lack of segregation of duties, which is, and every year we have that finding. It's just because the HRA isn't big enough to disperse job duties.
All right. Any questions on that from anyone?
And this is, the audit results have been sent over to the city, so Nicole can get that wrapped up.
The day we got it from SMR, we sent it straight over to Burkhart, or which, yeah.
Yeah, we should probably get approval of an audit.
I'll make a motion to approve the audit report.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay. 7.2, approval of financials.
Did we have to do anything with the governance letter, or was that just for our information?
That's just part of the audit.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right. 7.2, April and May financial statement.
Yeah, we have 2 months worth of financials, again, due to the end of the year as we were closing everything out. They weren't done in time for last month's meeting. Our cash is currently at about 319,000. That amount is up because we drew down some of those capital funds that were expiring. Other than that, the property has had, I should knock on wood, other than that water leak, we've had very minimal expenses at the property outside of our normal utilities and monthly bills.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Either April or May financials? Somebody want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. 7.3, the April and May bank reconciliation.
This is just the bank recs. I usually include this as just like part of the financials. It's kind of just one packet, but the accounting firm breaks it into two two separate documents when they send it over to us.
So moving forward, should I put the, bank rec right under that month's financial statement and have it as one? Since they're together.
You definitely can. In, our other HRAs, that's what we do. We just, approve them as one lump packet each month.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions on the bank reconciliation at all from anyone? So since they're separate, do we do a separate motion then?
I think, yeah, I would, since they're separate this month.
All right.
I'll move to approve the bank recs.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Under old business, 8.0, Fred. Welcome.
Morning.
Morning. We do good taking pictures.
What's that?
You do good taking pictures.
Well, I am so frustrated. I migrated to a new computer and the QuickBooks has a repair module. I've run the repair module several times and it will not download the PDF thing. So it's really a pain.
Well, does anybody have any questions or comments or?
I think as we discussed last month, that we wanted to have a joint meeting with HRA and EDA. So are you intending to be at the EDA meeting next? Is it next week?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge. We're leaving. Our daughter ran away and got married in Australia, had a baby. We're going over on the 25th for 2 weeks. A lot to get done between here and there, but I'll take it.
And in order for us all to be there, we have to have a quorum posted.
We posted last time because you guys had requested it. So we'll just do that again.
What day is the meeting?
It'll be next Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday morning.
Here, right?
Yep.
8:30. What's that date?
Let me see.
24th.
You leave on the 25th?
Yeah.
Okay. And Marcy, if could I just ask that if, when you complete that notice, like none of us got the notice that had been posted, to make sure that we all knew it had been posted and could be there, because none of us were copied on the EDA, meeting agenda as it being a joint meeting. Sure. So if you could make sure that we just all get that, I think we would have had the reminder to be there.
Well, Fred didn't attend, so it worked out to your advantage. So.
Is there any, from when you were here last time, is there anything new you want to share or add or present, I guess, for us in our consideration?
No, I think you can see that we are basically cash flow break even. And it's not a great place to be. The rec center subsidizes the housing a bit. And that isn't great either. Right now, we have about 35 signed up for this fall. That's probably about what I would have expected because we get a lot of push between now. When's your fair? Start over here.
Last weekend in July, first weekend in August.
Okay, yeah, there's always a correlation and a push at the college with people going, oh, I need to think about my life, and then we get some additional applicants. You know, we've raised our rates and given people an option, you know, to get that will charge by the room, and so it's 800 if you want to be single, but get a roommate. Your job to find a roommate, and you can slash it in half, which would be the cheapest we've ever offered. We have a couple of people that have taken advantage of that, that seems to be a good marketing strategy. And going to the per room will increase our revenue some. So hopefully we can start having a reasonable profit on the venture.
And again, how many rooms are available?
Well, we have about 60 that are available.
Okay.
So, and again, another thing that we'll have to consider is if we have that much vacancy, do we look at additional residences of some sort there?
Additional residents, what do you mean by that?
Well, we've talked with Joe at the college some about, do we open it up to like non-students who are critical infrastructure in the community, fire, police, nurses, etc. Especially targeting the lower level.
I've heard a rumor of it being opened up to homeless. Is this true at all?
Where does that start? Don't believe much on Facebook or about things like no. No, we have done our best to keep the homeless away. We've got a couple of people that we had to work with police to deter. Start hanging around, not inside, but outside.
Everybody have any follow-up questions or?
So, just so I'm clear too, the meeting next Wednesday will be the beginning of some talks maybe to honor what Fred suggested, that he wanted to defer the loan payment in December, or?
What I'm asking for is the notes are coming due. They're ballooning.
Oh, okay.
And so all I'm asking is that either we extend them for another year or two, continuing interest only, or if you want to start amortizing them. And again, the idea is pushing out the balloon until we have solid enough cash flow that I can go and refinance everything. Financing a student housing structure is not easy. And fortunately we have had a bank that will do that. Stearns probably would look at refinancing, but we need the cash flows to support whatever we want to do.
Because I don't think EDA has heard his presentation yet, so and I think we agreed, because we're joint, we want to make sure we're on the same page with the request, right?
Yeah,
Where we're at.
I just want to be clear, I'm not asking for a forgiveness, or we're not looking to default or anything like that.
Right, you're just looking for some relief or extension of some sort, right?
Right, so, because it would be a challenge to try to refinance this fall. I'm afraid we'll not have the couple of years of solid financials showing that we can service the additional debt on an amortization basis, because our interest rate is going to go up a bit too as well.
All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I guess we'll meet with EDA and we'll, sure. Are you gonna go?
Do we want to, we can't as the HRA take any action at the EDA meeting? I don't believe if that's correct, if we're quorum, we can be there, we can ask questions, we can view, but we can't motion. Do we want to schedule a joint meeting, special meeting after that EDA meeting to make a formal decision?
It's in December, so I feel like there's time. Meeting.
We put on the agenda to discuss making a joint meeting together at that meeting. Does that make sense?
Where EDA.
So you put on the EDA agenda that after we hear him, that then we can schedule? Because we're in July and then you got, I mean, it gets busy and then if
But you
there's.
could have your discussions during that meeting, you know, have Fred present and get the discussions done at that time. And
Yeah,
then,
we can discuss and chat and ask questions and interact with the EDA board as the HRA. We just can't. At that meeting, we couldn't
Yeah.
make a formal decision.
EDA could make a
Yeah.
decision and yours could be carried over to the July meeting where you make a decision then.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate that.
And in the interim, if there's any questions or anything like that, I'm happy to
Sure.
answer. If anybody has any ideas of how to rustle more kids in there, all ears.
Kidnap them.
We've,
You're going to live here.
we're, you know, we have increased advertising some, with, Cody Hughes is doing a great job of things.
Has the school presented some strategic planning options, or are they just saying, hey, it's up to you, Fred, to do this?
You know, we're really the tail of the dog. The dog is the college. I mean, they're out there recruiting and they're trying to get as many students as possible. And they've greatly expanded how they do their outreach. But in the end, the kids got to want to come to Pine Tech for one of their programs and have a housing need.
Yep.
And the miss in this and the market study was that local demand is just very low. You know, we're competing against free, and so a lot of the kids that we're getting that are more local, just they're getting kicked out of their house, or and there's more of the exception when a parent says, hey, we want our child to adult more, and this is a reasonable amount of rent to do that. So that's where we're at. We're really servicing those primarily kids who are coming from farther away. And, you know, the good news for the community is when we started this, 2-3 years ago, the housing was incredibly tight. I think it's still tight, but, we're taking 35 kids out of that pool that would be soaking up additional apartments and giving them a much more affordable option. So what we're doing is, and the stories are just fantastic about, some of the kids that we all of them were going to be homeless or whatever. And so it's a neat story, except for my wallet.
So I'm hearing that the school is basically saying, Fred, you have to figure out how to get more students in there.
Like I said, I think they are trying whatever they can, but it's still in the context of unless somebody wants to go to school there,
Sure,
and whatnot. I have a son who, keeps poking me that, oh, we should be going on doing this or they're doing that, and we are doing some of those things. I'm seeing no impact on that because again, the first step is they kind of want to go to Pine Tech for a particular program. They're not going to come and live at the dorm just because it's really cool, and it is really cool place to live, and then attend Pine Tech because of that. It's going the other way.
No, I get that. I guess maybe I'm not asking the question. Have you guys collectively thought of suggestions or ideas?
All the time.
Okay, so that's what I was kind of getting at there.
Yeah, no, the relationship with college is excellent. I can't speak highly enough about the relationship. It's just the reality of, and we're very thankful for a couple of their programs. One of the big surprises, just talking about it, is that they've got a great nursing program, unbelievable nursing program, and we get very, very few of those people. And when you dig below that, a lot of it is that it used to be really only primarily driven for people who already had their CNA and were already typically older, had families and whatnot. So paying for them to drive up here, but for them to come up and live and be away from their family or pay an additional rent payment, it's just not in the cards. And so that's always been a little bit. Now they've opened up a more of an entry path into nursing directly, and we picked up, I don't know, 3-4 nursing students from that standpoint. So it's the start. So we'll see. I frankly don't expect to probably pick up more of those, just because I think people who are going into that profession are on the ball, and so they're likely have already applied and whatnot. But we run into just barriers where, even though the rent is affordable, there's a real financial literacy barrier, I think, and that they just it's hard for these young people to understand how they're going to pay for that, even though they have the ability for student loans, and the amount of debt that they would take on to get their degree to increase their earning potential is really small, given that between the Franzen scholarships and the different grants and whatnot, it'd be just a very small amount of money, but it's a hurdle. They just can't see, oh, how would I pay for this?
Okay. Anything else? All right, perfect. Thanks, Fred.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, 8.1, section 18 disposition versus the RAD update and discussion.
We were gonna reach out to Leslie. Did you?
Yeah, so what was it, 2-3 months ago, Jill Keppers from the Duluth HRA was on a Zoom call, and sounds like she's assisting, and I think it's going to be a big group of people. So in my notes, next Tuesday at 10 a.m. SMR, the Mora HRA and myself, that are going to tour the building with the maintenance people, because the way I'm understanding is the Mora HRA would work. We need them to work with us for the voucher, and that's kind of the first step in that process. There's a lot of steps, and so in addition to that, we've reached out to Chelsea Troth here in town and asking if she would help drafting deeds and assist with transferring of ownership, because there's a process there, and she definitely has agreed to help look into that. And then there's a couple other things. The resident and local government support. So before submitting anything to HUD, the HRA would need to have a resident meeting, hold a meeting with residents to explain the plan, explain the relocation will not be necessary, in detail their right to stay, allow for residents to submit their feedback, which need to be incorporated into the application of HUD. And then secure a formal letter of support from the mayor of the city on behalf of the city council, amend the public housing agency 5-year plan. So there's a lot, but if we can do these things in steps, it can move, I guess, relatively quickly. I don't know. Everyone's version of quick is different. I'm not saying in the next few weeks, but it could be, 6-8 months-ish maybe, as we look into that. And based upon where we're at today and what we're doing, there's really not a need for us to have a formal agreement to hire Leslie in her capacity. So as of now, these are kind of the steps we're taking with SMR, ourselves, and a group of people. So we're, the flywheels to continue to move forward as we get all of this together.
Is this something you'd like to see stay on the agenda just for
Yeah.
updates? Okay.
Yes, please.
One question that I have is, I know when we applied for the grant for the foundation work, or the city applied for the grant on behalf of the HRA, one of the stipulations was the HRA cannot change ownership for 5 years. Does the section 18 disposition being we're pushing it to a, if I remember correctly from Leslie, it gets pushed to its own LLC, but it is owned by the HRA. Does that constitute as changing ownership?
I don't know the details on that.
I would think before we pull the trigger, we'll need.
I know that's been part of the conversation because of the timing of that. Because even if we do get approved for the grant, as we know, it could be another year before we can even see the money, and then there's a lot. So what I think we've said is, let's just work on this and see where we get, and then I don't know if I'm saying it right, which one falls first,
For sure.
you know? But that is something to definitely to consider through this for sure.
And not really, apologize, I could have added it to the, as another agenda item, kind of diagonally associated with this agenda item is, would it be advantageous of us at the HRA to start working with, I don't know who, a contractor, working with engineering again to see about, set up a plan in case we're very hopeful we get this grant, we're very hopeful this grant could take care of what we need to take care of. If we don't get this grant, we still need to do something with the building. Is there a way that should we be meeting with an engineer, an architect, a developer, somebody that we can say, yeah, we can phase this with the money that you've got available in the bank. Now we can do X, and then as we continue to develop funds, we can do Y, and then we can do Z, and that solves all the problems. I just don't want to, my concern is I would hate to be in a position again where, say, we don't get this grant, we apply for something else in the spring, and then we're
Just
year
a perpetual.
behind, and it's just kind of the same thing that we've been fighting for the past couple years. So I just want to ensure that we can do something. So if there's a
Makes
way that we
sense.
could phase the project, I think that would be. But another council member says, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? I think if we can get it to a point where this is a massive project, we know the building needs a lot of work, but if we can get it to a point where it's.
I know Leslie had been commented, but it was almost where they had said, well, you're only gonna put Band-Aids, and the amount of structural integrity that it's almost like you have to go full in, but yeah, I mean, definitely think of that for sure. Is there something process wise or step wise that could look into that?
One wing of the building, I don't know. It might just be nice to have a refresher from, I don't know, I think,
Just as some background, this is Jolene. When we came on board, there was a contractor that SEH had already hired. And they had started the work probably the day that we started coming to the site. And they had started one wing of it, and the contractor filled in the hole and said, I can't do this. This is too big of a project, and I don't want, I don't have, there's too much that needs to be done here for what the scope of work indicated. So, you're gonna not only need an engineer, but you're gonna have a contractor that's gonna want to take on, doing it in phases. Because the last time around, they kind of walked away from it.
And the last time we bid it out, they did have it in 3 different phases. That's part of the bid to kind of tackle it in small portions as well.
And
yeah, and no passing blame on anybody here. Please don't take it that way. I just want to, if we're gonna work on this, I think we have to work on this, and I think there are some other council members that are very concerned about the building and the project. So I think we just need to make sure that we're taking every step essential to, as we should for, it's our duty to the tenants of the building. So I think we need to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to make sure that if it can get done sooner, great. If what we're doing is the only thing that we can do at this point in time, that's all we can do. But
Are you asking from even a construction perspective, and also a financial? Because that's been one thing I thought, like, we keep applying for grants. Nothing, so what is plan?
right,
If we don't get any grants, I mean, and whatever grants we get, we're looking at 24 months, 18 months from now before we even can.
right.
So, yeah, I think that's something we definitely should. And that kind of will fall into probably 8.4 today, you know, so that could be its own strategic plan. All right, good conversation. Yeah, please keep that on the agenda because, you know, we'll be visiting next week and some of these other things that are required for us to get this moving. We'll just continue to update.
If I am available or can make myself available, can I tag along with that visit?
Someone's gonna need to make a motion. I don't know. No, I don't know. Sure, I guess. I'm assuming. I didn't schedule this or no. I mean, I'm just, yeah, walk around, check it out. So, all right, if there's no more questions or comments, did you guys have anything on that SMR? Or are you guys good?
Hey Chad, the reason that the Moore County HRA wants to come to the site is because they want to make sure that the building is going to pass the Inspire inspection, which we have already passed with a very high score. So that is the reason they're coming, is if you look at the emails, is if they take on Section 8, the Section 8 vouchers, they're gonna have to pass the Inspire inspections. And so I don't see this as being it's more of a formality because we already have a copy of the Inspire inspection that the building has passed with very good colors. So just so you guys have the background to why they're coming to the site.
Thank you. I missed that part. I appreciate you bringing that up.
It's not for any other reason, just they're bringing a maintenance contractor along to make sure that that's not going to be an issue.
Awesome. Well, that's good to know that we passed it. So from a formality perspective. Really, you trying to get in? Just walk across the grass. I pushed back the door. You're late. You were at the beginning of the agenda, lady. All right. If nothing else, we'll move to 8.2. Continued discussion on the tenant advocate. Any comments, discussion today? Okay. All right, we'll move to 8.3. Hillside Court water leak update.
They kind of addressed it in their management report too. Did you have anything else to say about the water leak update?
Nope, everything seems to be good. The contractor was able to get their building permit all squared away. We've issued payment to the contractor. Unfortunately, it sounds like the check is lost in the mail somewhere. It's been over a week since we mailed it and they still haven't received it. So we're going to look into possibly voiding that check and getting a new one out to them here today.
And I just want to add, I watched the city council meeting about this conversation. And I know, we can always, whatever it is, I'm not saying specifically, we all can sit back and go, hey, should have did this, should have did that. It was an emergency. So what I would just say, you know, for permits or process or protocol that is after an emergency and we're handling it, we just circle back and say, okay, do we have the necessary permits or process? That's all. Just because I know city council was very critical of some of the process with this, and to let them know that, hey, when it's an emergency, you got to do what you got to do in the moment. So I guess if you want to.
Yeah, that was just going to be the next thing I wanted to touch on is I'm sure you have some sort of policy and I'm sure it was just a whoopsie daisies, but we want to make sure that if we're doing anything more than painting or replacing light bulbs or things like that, that if it is something that is building permittable, that, and this is something as a property owner, I will say, I didn't know. I had my roof redone a few years ago, and had the roofer not gotten a permit, I wouldn't have known to get a building permit. That's just how things work. But just so that we can have a good conduit and good communication with the city and with our building official to make sure that these are getting done, or that permits are getting at least applied for while you're on the up and up, just as if it was any other business. It being it's a city adjacent.
Because I think
Or
had this
investigation.
known prior, and it was an emergency, but had they known, we would have been able to say, "Ooh, make sure you go through these lines and get these permits done," and we wouldn't have had this.
Yeah, just if we can work a little bit more collaboratively and make sure that we're looking out for one another rather than, I know there's some folks that like to call out the negatives, but I think if we can call out the positives and keep working forward and take this as a learning opportunity, not as that someone made a mistake, but it's an opportunity to learn from and move forward, I think that's all I meant.
I agree. Okay. Well, thank you for the update there, and nothing else. Okay. HRA strategic plan update. So we've attached our prior, and that looks like a EDA strategic plan from North Branch was attached.
A little disappointed. I reached out to 8 cities for their strategic plans. I got North Branch reached back with their strategic plan, but more for their EDA. So I just attached that for your review as we move forward, looking how to update.
Does anybody have any thoughts on how we should approach this, or? I reached out to someone and I mean, it would be a nominal fee to help us put one together. We wanted to work with someone that has experience, that has been in this space. I mean, at the end of the day, the strategic plan is basically kind of your goals, and your wants, and keeps you kind of accountable from what you're wanting to do. And I think we have a good punch list of things. And you can look at our agendas of what that would look like. But having someone with experience kind of guide us a little bit. I don't know what, I've never done this before in a capacity like this.
We could definitely hire somebody. I think we could also do it, figure our way out and do it. It's just kind of our 5-10 year goal. I would look at this is, so if the desire of the rest of the board is to bring in a professional to do something, or have someone walk us through this process, that's totally fine. I think we could, if we had a more of a work session style meeting and did kind of some, maybe where the building did a SWOT analysis, looked at our goals, I think we could do a lot of that internally without having to hire it out necessarily, and probably get it done faster.
So it's only like 80 grand, so it's like, it's a few $100.
Okay.
And it's always that, investing in it, and I'm not trying to waste money, but does it help us from a perspective of, I've never done that for a city before. I don't know who else has either. So not to say that we don't have the capacity with all of us collectively to be able to do it, but,
Marcy, can the strategic plan be updated? Like if we wrote something, we were like, oh my gosh, we forgot about.
Oh, I'm sure we could amend it.
Can you amend it or update it at any point in time?
I think it should be, actually. I mean, we have one right now for Habitat for Humanity, and it's crazy. We got a grant, and so we went to, I'm going to say Osprey or whatever that is.
Yeah.
And it's weird how things are falling into place, and we're just like literally checking things off. And revisiting them and updating them. And I mean, I've done the SWOT analysis and different things, but I've never been where you really get drilled down through some of this, and it's kind of cool to actually see.
Progress.
I mean, it's absolutely, I know Joel from the college just joined the board. So he brings a lot of value and relationships and insight. So, our, not to get sidetracked, but just the executive directors putting a lot of different pieces of people in 5 communities or counties together. And it's a strategic plan is actually just working. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So,
I don't disagree with what you're saying, Kent. I think that we could do it in-house. What I like about having a third party do it is that everyone then participates as part of the discussions and shares their ideas. When you have the chair and board trying to direct a strategic plan discussion, they often don't share their own opinions. They want to hear from other people. That's so if there's whether it's a contracted third party or if it's led by Marcy and the board is the one sharing those ideas, and you just have a third party facilitating, taking the notes, putting together the analysis.
Sure.
So,
and don't get me wrong, like if it's $500, that may be a no-brainer. If it's $5,000, that's more of a discussion.
that's kind of where it would fall in line.
Okay.
You know, I would say 500, around $500.
Sure. Yeah, and that may be, I agree with you, Becky. It might be nice to have someone from the outside come in and lead the discussion, but we can all.
And I can get some more specific details to bring, you know, I mean, I just very low level reached out to a few people based upon my contacts. So, and you don't want me to lead it because then all mortgages through the city gotta go to me.
Yeah,
All right.
I was a Kaizen certified Kaizen lean something, but that's been like 15 years ago. And you think I retained any of that information after 15
It's a
years?
lot. I mean, we were there for 2 days, so it was cool. All right, any other comments, suggestions?
I'll keep this on the agenda too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you. And I'll bring more substance of what that would look like.
Yeah, and hopefully I
us.
can gather more
Yeah.
examples too. Okay,
Sure.
perfect.
9.1 open meeting law, LMC training discussion.
I'm just keeping it. We have been reaching out with the LMC on how to make this work when people aren't technically employed by the city. So we're still working on this, on how to make it work. Is it better to do so?
Could we, sorry, not necessarily an HRA question. Could we have someone come from the LMC and do a live training and just record it and send the YouTube link out to our committee members?
I just emailed them.
What's LMC? I don't know.
League of Minnesota Cities, so that every city in Minnesota pays into part of a consortium called the League of Minnesota Cities. They have, really they're the people that draft that kind of boilerplate ordinances, like everything kind of goes through the League of Minnesota Cities. From my county perspective, the AMC is the Association of Minnesota Counties. They crutch on LMC for basically LMC does something, AMC takes it and then pushes it out at the county level. So it's just kind of if you're a city in Minnesota here, they can compete.
Exactly. And you pay a fee.
I think we pay a membership
Yep.
based on
And they're-
population. Is that how we do it? Is it based on population?
I think it is, yeah.
What your fee would be.
So a bigger city pays more than a smaller city.
So theoretically, if we had gotten to the point to get an ordinance drafted for the trust funds, they would have helped us.
They could have proved
Yes.
it.
And
Okay.
they have contract attorneys who go over things. So usually that's who I go to first before I go to our city attorney, is have them proof contracts, legal documents, and then have them proof it, and then
Yeah.
it's sent, so it saves on.
Money,
Mhm.
sure.
They're a huge
They're the ones
resource.
that we can call with the off the wall questions and that. But how does this work? And
Yeah.
they go, well, so and so did that and it was great, or so and so.
Because they're all attorneys or
And they have HR resources, they have,
Yeah, thank you.
they're amazing.
And then you were, and just now that I know what, and you had it on the agenda for conversation today on what?
Just to say, we're still working on it, because council required this of, certain committees,
Yeah.
and we're trying to make it work, because council directed us to do that.
To make it work, I'm still confused.
So the, open meeting law is just to have, how the meetings run and the correct.
Oh, I need that.
procedure. And it's,
Things like,
For sure.
what's a quorum? What's, how can you talk?
yeah,
Can I talk about the same thing with all of you privately outside? The answer is no.
but since we
But
have
how to handle
city emails, we have full access. So the committee members who don't have city emails, you're not really allowed in, and we're trying to figure out the best way to get these committees to have this without having to pay for it.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you for putting that on there.
Yeah, because whoever, I don't know if they would necessarily do that, the individual would be willing to, because there was a very good open meeting law session at the LMC training that they
Yep.
hold annually. So I don't know if we could just
Stream it.
for all of the, I don't think we need to do a practical. I don't think we need to do a test. I don't think you need to do any of the modules.
So
like they do.
one-on-one.
Just kind of touching on the things that,
Could schedule special meetings for each committee and we could just log in.
Play it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. We're good there. We'll go to 10.1, approval of check register.
These are the financials and the check register, from our finance director, if there's any questions.
I don't have any questions. Everyone good?
need a motion to approve these.
Yes, please.
I would make a motion to approve the financials.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Additional items, comments, or questions? I guess I'll just go back real quick to 8.0 with Fred. So we attend that meeting. We'll have our conversation, but we don't need to have a separate meeting together to make a decision, or would we need to do that?
I think if we, as long as we pose it to the EDA where everybody's on the same page.
Should we do that at that meeting?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. And I sit on EDA, so I can act as the intermediary kind of and just say,
Yeah, we're three hats.
when we're more than that. No, I can sit on we can work through it and just say, hey, this is what, if EDA very may well have a decision Wednesday.
Okay.
They may want to take another month to discuss it and chat them out amongst.
What's nice, it is December, so
We've got some time. I mean, it's already June. It was just January, I feel like last month.
That's true.
But,
That's true.
And I'm just saying, because what if, I mean, if at that meeting, would it be possible, or would we need to have a separate, that's all, so we could.
and technically, I'm just gonna throw this out there because it is a possibility. The HRA could make a determination with the 50,000 from HRA, and the EDA could potentially make a determination with the 50,000 sent from EDA. We could make,
It could be two.
It could be
separate
absolutely
two separate
That are
decisions.
different.
Yes.
So that's possible. It is also worth noting that whatever decision gets made, if a decision were made at EDA level regarding, it's gonna have to move to
But then we'll go to-
council for approval. So
Ours doesn't, though, right?
ours does not.
Ours is not.
This city manages the EDA funds.
Correct.
So if we hypothetically agree at that meeting, it could change
At council level,
at council
yes.
level.
It's potential.
Okay.
And they would make a determination based upon reading minute notes or recommendations.
Councilmember Swanson also sits on EDA with me. Will you be posting that as a quorum for all of council as well?
Yeah, that might be-
So if anybody else has any questions or would like to attend, so that I'd like to make sure everybody's on the same page before we make a decision. Yeah.
So the 24th, right?
Everybody.
Correct.
It's Wednesday at
I'm
8:30.
supposed to golf at
8:30 here, so.
Augusta, but I guess we gotta postpone that.
And I will send emails to everybody.
Kidding, I'll never golf there. All right, any other additional items, comments, or questions? SMR, you guys good?
We're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I want to
you.
make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. See you next Wednesday.
Thanks, Tracy.
She had to work.
Oh,
She sent an email out.
okay, that's.
All right, good meeting, folks.